Okay, so I've got myself a new journal and I'm ready to get started with it. If you haven't seen my last video, I made a flip through of that huge chonker of a journal I had. I decided I never really want to do that again. I like having small journals that I can complete really quickly. So I went and I bought this, a 24 pack. So I hope these are good journals because I'm kind of stuck with them for now. So I got them off of Amazon. I've just been on the search for some really small journals like this. The pages don't seem that thick. That's one thing I'm worried about. It might not be good for holding like mixed media with all the paint that I do, all the painting projects that I do. So who knows, it might not be the greatest thing, but they were pretty cheap, which I like. So yeah, let's try these out and let's start a new journal. Okay, so I've got myself here a couple of supplies. I'm not really focused too much on making some big elaborate spread. I'm mainly kind of focused to see how this journal kind of works with my materials, whether or not things bleed through, how the paper will hold my paint, things like that. So I'm not going to do a huge spread, just kind of something pretty simple that I do often, just to see how these materials will work with this type of journal. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is probably tape down some of my pages. I always skip the first maybe couple of pages just because my first page I always write on and I do writing on it. So, and this page I want to skip because look, it's pretty thin, so I know it's gonna bleed through. So I'm gonna start on this page here and I'll just start by taping things down. I really don't what am I saying? I'm not thinking too much about things. I'm kind of just chatting with all of you. And I know that, oh, it's gonna be hard to see my paint, but it's okay. What was I saying? I wanted to do kind of like a chatty video and just chill, because a lot of my videos are kind of flip throughs and I'm kind of like huffing and puffing to get through them and just wanting to get through it as fast as I can. So I want to slow down with this one. And I want to slow down with my art journaling just in general because I tend to do my art journaling way too fast and it makes my pages, like, you can tell that they're kind of rushed sometimes. So I've been wanting to make that like a goal for my art journaling, is to slow down, because there's no reason that, well, I mean, sometimes of course you need to do art fast, but sometimes like art should be relaxing and chill, and there's no reason for me to be doing it so fast. Okay, I've taped a square down. Let me continue. Okay, so one thing about me, when I have the most weirdest methods. I have no clue what I'm doing most of the time, and it kind of just works out. I had to cut open this paint bottle because I couldn't open this. It was so like solid shut that I couldn't twist it off. And this paint was hand-me-down to me from my aunt. Thank you to my aunt. This is very nice paint, but because I would never be able to kind of afford this stuff myself. So it's very nice to be able to try some new paints. I usually use pretty cheap paints from like the dollar store, but these are kind of like more quality paint. But I'm trying to finish it off before it all dries up because I literally cut it open like this. I don't know why, but I don't know what I was thinking. That was what I was meaning to say. I don't know what I was thinking. But on this side, I'm kind of just gonna fill it up with kind of just some strokes from my paintbrush with these three colors. And then on this side, I'm still thinking about what I'm gonna do, but I don't know yet. We'll figure out in a second. That's how I approach most of my art journaling, is we'll figure it out as we go. My first impressions with this though, like, it's not too bad. I don't think it's going through like terribly. This is like easily coverable with like a piece of paper or something. So obviously I'm not using like watercolor or gouache or anything, which is like more wet. This is just acrylic paint, so it's not as watery, but we'll see how it is when I like layer more and when it dries, how it kind of looks when it goes through. Because one thing that I'm kind of worried about is that lately when I use like watercolors, it'll bleed through onto the opposite page and it'll reactivate like the paint if I paint on both sides. So that's one thing I'm gonna have to like watch out for, if that is true, that the water will reactivate my paints. It's literally a first world problem thing. Like I could just literally get a more expensive journal, but I don't want to. So that's how you solve that problem, is get a journal with thicker pages. But I don't want to do it that way. I want to find a better solution besides having to spend more money on more expensive journals. But sometimes, honestly, it's better that way because you kind of need to pay quality in order to get quality art. But for now, I will just complain about it and I'll figure out different solutions until I can afford to buy some more expensive journals and paper. And plus, I really like when, I don't know, like it gives me more creative methods to approach my art if I need to like problem solve things. Sometimes if it's too easy, the art isn't as good, so you need to go through a little bit of struggle in order to get some different types of art, if that makes sense. Let's be real now, I don't even know if half the things that I say on this channel make sense, but I don't know. I get a final product and I think that's what matters, so that's why people watch. Okay, let's go in with yellow. I really like when the colors mix together because I like I don't know what I'm saying. You know what I mean. When the colors mix nicely, it's kind of a vibe. Okay, I think that's all I'm gonna do with yellow. I'm not gonna do that much. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry and we'll see what happens. So I think while this dries, I think the vibe on this side that I'm feeling is to do a bunch of shapes and kind of just fill up the space, because this side's gonna be very enclosed and framed, and then this side can be kind of like free and chaotic. So there's kind of a little bit of a balance, but I'm gonna fill it in with all three colors. This paintbrush is not the paintbrush that I need for this, but we've already started, so we're gonna go with it. And that's fine. I'm not wanting a huge type of, I don't want it to be very precise. I want it to be kind of scratchy, kind of messy in that way. But I'm gonna fill it all in with all three colors and then probably write something in the middle, as I always do, add a little quote. But for now, that's what the plan is. Okay, so I finished my painting, I think. I might go in with some marker and add a little bit more detail to this. My paintbrushes are kind of old, they're a little weak, so obviously I couldn't really get this, like the really like straight kind of crisp lines that I would want to usually get, but that's okay. This page isn't really like that. It doesn't need to be that crazy. But yeah, I got some nice textures of the paint on here too, so hopefully when those dry it'll be nice. One thing I'm worried about though is that these pages, they might stick together, so I'm kind of worried about that. I might have to look into that as I go on, but yeah, I'm gonna wait for everything to dry a little bit more before I peel off the tape on this to see how it holds with tape. But I'm gonna definitely add some more words to this with my markers, and yeah, I'm almost done. I don't think I'm gonna really add more to this. I think it's good the way it is. Just add a few more details and then it will be done. I may or may have not have gone a little bit overly too ambitious with my writing here, but it adds to the point of this quote where I'm just saying, like, just do it. Like, things don't always have to be perfect for it to be good. As long as you're doing something, you're trying, that's good, and that's all that really matters. But there's this side. I added a little bit more doodles and then added my quote, and now I'm gonna take off the tape on here and see if we can get a good paint peel. I'm nervous. That's all I can say. I'm nervous about this. Okay, everyone, say a quick prayer. Right now, say a quick prayer. Ooh. I don't want to jinx myself or anything, so I'm just gonna be quiet and hold my breath. Wow! Yay! Excuse me for yelling. I'm thoroughly impressed with that. The tape I use is very cheap. I use very cheap tape, and considering all that, I'm very glad how that worked out. That was very impressive to me. I mean, this sounds so lame. Like, I know I'm screaming about a tape peel, but I feel ecstatic about this. I'm very happy with how that turned out. The final product. Not too bad. Here's an update on the bleeding situation. It does go through pretty easily, but that's to be expected considering that this is a pretty cheap journal and the pages are pretty thin. Most of the things that I'm kind of complaining about can easily be fixed by just getting a more expensive journal with some thicker pages, but I always like to find the negative in things because that's my own problem. But considering everything, I think these are great journals so far from the one page that I've made. I'm really excited to make more pages with it and see like how things hold up. But this was very good, a very good experiment, and I'm very happy with how things turned out. Alright, thanks for sticking around with me as I made this page. Thanks for listening to me chat about my art process and how I approach a new journal. I hope you give this one a try and maybe it gave you some inspo for your journal. So share with me the pages that you make. I love to see them. Make sure you follow me on social media. I'm on all the other stuff as well. And that's all I have. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!